Right. All right, let me share this really fast and then we should be ready to get going. Good evening, and God bless you to those that are tuning in. I hope you guys are doing well. And so we come on, please share. And so today is the last day of Women in Business. And I'm so excited about my guest. Her name is Sherilyn Bennett. And
Yes.
so if you don't know her, you need to know her. You need to get to know her. And so this is the woman. If you trying to build $1 million brand, this is who you need to know. And so please share this. Please share this with anybody you know that is trying to launch a business, that's in business, that desires to get in business. This is the final piece. We had Pastor Gigi come on and tell us how she has built a multi-million-dollar business. We had I came on and I talked about laying a foundation in business. Let's make sure that we have some organization and some structure. And then last night, a niece came on, and she is a genius with strategizing and coaching and all that. And so tonight, I have Sherilyn on, and so she is the owner of Camden Lane Creative Agency. But I don't want to step on her toes. Sherilyn, please take a moment to introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yes, hi, I'm Sherilyn Bennett, and as Deandra said, I am the owner of Camden Land, a celebrity brand and a creative brand strategist. I'm excited to be here, Dee. It's always great to talk with you. You have done what women say they should be doing, and that is support me. No matter what, you're in my inbox doing it. You're on Facebook doing it. You don't miss a beat, honey. You do not miss a beat, and which is good because my company is mainly all women. All of my clients are women. Mostly, all of my clients are African American, and I really don't have to advertise a lot because of women like yourself and word of mouth. So yes, I've been doing this for about 25 years. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so to those that are just tuning in, I'm talking live with Sherilyn Bennett. And so this is the last day of the Women in Business Facebook Live series that I've had going. And so I've said it every day that I know that there's a real win on business and entrepreneurship. And I want you guys to get in. A lot of people have a lot of great ideas. They don't know how to get started. They don't really know what to do. And so I brung these ladies on here to help you, to guide you, and to show you that there are resources and people that you can hire to help you on your journey in business and entrepreneurship. So Sherilyn, please tell us a little bit about your journey into entrepreneurship. And then we're going to get into, well, we'll get to the other part, but I want you to kind of tell people, because a lot of times, and I had to tell Pastor Gigi the same thing. Like, I'm like, tell me the ugly stuff. And so
Oh
she
yeah.
got to talk about how the city has shut her down and all type of stuff. But now she talked about how her trauma helped her build a business that has made her millions. And
Yeah.
so she is definitely another one that is dynamic, and she has a lot going on. But we want to hear about the ugly stuff. I like to hear about people's failures
Oh yeah.
in business, because it lets you kind of know, what do I avoid? How do I do that type of thing? So yeah, tell us
Right.
about your journey.
Yes. Well, I was working in the news industry for about 15 years. And then when I got divorced, the Lord sent me back home to my small town of Ocala, Florida. And what I did was I took $10,000 and I went and got a location and a desk and a computer. And for some reason, I thought that was how I was supposed to run a company. So as you can guess, I lost all $10,000. But it's interesting because also I'm an ordained prophetess. And I like to tell this story because we often talk about faith and business and things like that. The day that I went out of business, I was sitting in a car outside of the building, and my spiritual father called me. I didn't know he would be my spiritual father, right? But he called me and he said, I've been speaking to your aunt. I asked her, could I get your number? And he said, I wanted to tell you that, God is calling you into ministry. And I said, no, I'm a business owner. even though I had just failed at that, and he said, no, people across the nation will call you to minister, and I said, no, that's not me. Like, I've come from a family full of ministers, but that's not me. I'm still thinking, no, I'm a business owner, even with the failed business sitting right there in the parking lot. It was that day. And so he said, well, let me just pray for you. I said, go ahead. And so he began to pray and speak in tongues. He's praying for me. And I was weeping the whole time because I did not want to be a minister. I felt like I was a business owner. And he said, well, you're a woman of God who happens to have a business. That's what you are, right? And I said, no. I'm not doing that. So what I had to do was get a real job because I didn't know what I was doing in business. I thought because I was talented and Jesus loved me that I didn't have to educate myself on business. I just thought I could show up with my prayers and my fasting, right? And all of a sudden I was going to have this amazing 6-figure, 7-figure business. And boy, did I learn that's not what was supposed to happen. So I did go to work at a marketing agency in my hometown that was paying me 1/3 of what I would normally make in the market in corporate. 1/3. But I was desperate. So I took them little $22,000. And I went to work. But while I was going to work, God began to do something miraculous. He began to give me clients on the side. And it was getting to be the point where my spiritual dad would say to me, you're supposed to now own your own company. You're not supposed to work for them. And I was miserable there. But to be honest, and I like to be transparent, I did not have the faith to do that. I did not have the faith to do that. So God did it for me. One day, I was sitting at my desk and the HR person came up to me and said, well, Michelle, because they know me as Michelle, we don't need your position anymore. And interesting enough, I was supposed to go preach the next day because, see, between the time that I got the job, when he told me that I was a minister and the time that I've been working, God had sent me to ministry school. I had pulled over side a country road and gave up and told the Lord I would preach, right? And so I was in ministry school and all of that. And the next day I would have to go minister in Charlotte, where I now live. So, but something happened great that was at the job, even though I was losing my job and I had kids in college and I was thinking, how am I going to pay my rent? The HR person came up to me and said, can I speak to you in the corner? And she said, listen, the Lord, because if you had not done that, we wouldn't know Jesus here. And so what we're going to give you $25,000 in your bank account next week. And that's when God said to me, and you'll never work for corporate again.
Wow.
Yeah. You'll never work for corporate again. And guess what? That's been 5 years ago. And that does.
Uh-oh.
I haven't had hard times because it has not always been easy. And so it's hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. You don't work, you don't eat. But that's how I got to be an entrepreneur. I was kicked out of, and yeah, that's what happened.
That is a blessing. I mean, throw me out with $25,000. You can just take my desk and fling it from the window. But that is definitely a blessing, and that definitely lets you know that that's where God really. Huh? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, D. I can't hear you.
You can't? Uh-oh.
Right. Okay.
Can you hear now?
No. Yes. Now, see him. Okay. We ain't having this tonight.
Listen, not tonight. But no, that is amazing. I like to hear other people's stories and see what God has done in other people's lives because it's a blessing and it's inspiring. It's like you knew it was. Listen, God made sure that you knew it was time for you to go. I mean, when we're gonna give you $25,000 in the bank, I would have probably shouted up a storm and tore that whole office up. They would have had to have security take me out on a stretcher. Listen.
Got my purse. I said, okay, it's time for me to go.
Yeah. That is a blessing, but it's like God really positioned you to launch you into business where you could be comfortable, to where you didn't
Mhm.
have to worry about anything, to where you knew, okay, I got this much time because I got this much money that I can put in the bank. I
Yeah.
got to put myself on a budget. I can pay my rent up, blah, blah, blah. And so I want you, that is, so I hope somebody heard that. I hope somebody got some faith and heard what she said. She didn't have the faith to leave her job, even though her
Yeah.
now spiritual father told her it was time for her to leave. So God kicked her out the job and blessed her at the same time because she introduced those people to the Lord. They gave
Yes.
her $25,000 when they let her go from that job. Now you can't tell, I wouldn't serve no other God, but I ain't gonna argue with y'all about that tonight. But I want to keep going. I want you to talk about what you do. I want people to know more about what you do and the services that you offer, because I'm telling you, I constantly have women emailing, texting, calling. And I always tell people,
Yes.
go to Sherilyn. Now, if they
Yeah.
don't book you, that's on them. But I always tell people to go to you because you are one that is integral. And I told y'all that last night. I personally endorse Sherilyn because she's not going to take the money and run. She's not
Mhm.
one of these graphic designers that once she gets the money, she disappears and blocks you on Facebook. I have been dealing with her personally for about 5 years.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
I think right in your transition, it's been a
Yeah.
good 5 years or so. I've
Mhm.
never had an issue with her. I've always recommended her to other people, and I know that's kind of scary and it's not easy when with dealing with graphic designers. But
Yeah.
let me be quiet. I want you to go ahead and tell people about your services, your specialties, and what you do so that we can get our brands together. Because I know y'all are oily and you speaking in tongues, and the weight of his glory is all over you. But I'm so tired of these terrible graphics.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this poor presentation. And so this is the lady that you need to know. Okay, take it away.
Yes. So my agency is 5 years old. Amen. Last this month, February 25th, will be 5 years old. And I was an award-winning graphic designer before I started this business. I got my awards in news and advertising. That's where I became an award-winning designer. What I do, we have a full service branding and graphic design agency. Now, I can design anything from billboards to logos, but I'm a corporate designer. What I mean by that is my aesthetic is corporate. It's clean, it's crisp, and I design the stuff that's gonna get you the money, basically.
That's good.
Your corporate tools, your media kits, your one sheets, your retractable banners, your magazines. All the money makers are what I design for you. Now I do flyers and stuff like that, but those are money makers. It depends on who are coming to me for it. But also I have a celebrity clientele. So my range is going to be a little higher, right? Because of my background, because of who I am when it comes to this gift. But I'm worth it. And one thing I want to tell you guys who are in kingdom, right? There is no reason why kingdom should look raggedy. If the Lord ain't raggedy, then kingdom shouldn't look raggedy. If you can spend your money on frivolous things, then you can spend your money on a company that you say that the Lord has given you, and you can invest in what it looks like, because you should be able to compete in the marketplace. That depends on you and your vision. Do you have a local vision? Do you have a regional vision? Or do you have a global vision? If you are to compete on the global, corporate, national stage, you need to be. I always say this. When you walk into big box stores, you tell me if you walk down the aisle and you see any of the stuff that you guys are trying to treat yourself on, the logo, what does it look like? What does the packaging look like, right? It ain't gonna look like what your cousin gonna do. They are not gonna allow you to be in their stores looking like that. So you need to already look like where you're gonna go. I always say I'm a create $1 million vision. It's up to you to do the rest, basically. And so those things, and I have contracts with web designers and things like that. But I want to tell you that I really love authors. Love, love, love. I love authors, and I welcome them. I work with publishing houses and stuff like that, but you can call me individually and we'll get that book done, because books have covers, and those covers need to be what people make them want to read your story. Now, I want y'all to know that if you're going to compete, when you're an author, that author brand needs to be top notch because there is so much competition out there, y'all. And it's worth it to invest in that book cover and that book layout. It really is. And so also too, God holds me accountable. No, I will not take your money and run because I won't be able to sleep at night and God will deal with me. I care more about his, and listen, my reputation is God's reputation. And so I can't be out here all willy-nilly. There are so many clients that come to me. They are heartbroken because these graphic designers are taking their money. And I will say to you graphic designers that know you're not graced for it. You know that ain't your anointing. I want you to not quit taking E4 money.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know you're not graced for it. You don't have the training. Get the training if you want to be in the field. But don't just throw these people's stuff together and then give them a Canva layout. If they want Canva, they'll download it and use it. Don't do that. God ain't pleased with that. He is not pleased with that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a designer. I'm saying that if you know you're not graced for that, come on, y'all. Don't do that to the people of God, because then designers like myself, we have to clean that up.
Yeah.
And we have to get them to trust us because they're skittish, because they don't trust anything we say because of what you've done.
Yeah.
Because of what you've done. If you're not graced for it, send it to somebody who is, and then get in your lane and excel in it. Just because you can don't mean you should. Did God call you to it? Did he assign you to it or no? There's something that you're missing because you over here trying to be a designer and you ain't even graceful. It shows that you're not, and you will put these people books out here and stuff. Their stories mean something to them.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do book cover design, stop it. Stop it.
I sends them to Sherilyn. They don't be listening to me.
I'm right.
Listen. I always tell people, I said, if you want your stuff to look professional and polished, go to Sherilyn. But then I do tell people, I said, Sherilyn is not for everybody. I said, because Sherilyn, your budget and Sherilyn's price may disagree. And so sometimes you have to find other, and I tell people about those other avenues and stuff like that, because I get it. You know, everybody's budget is not at the same place, because Sherilyn is not your 15. If you're looking for a $15 graphic, this ain't your person. If you're looking for 1,000 business cards for $20, this is not your person. If you're trying to get a cartoon logo, this ain't your person. And so, my puppy is coughing. But it's important to like she said, to invest. We have to be okay with investing in our brand, investing in your business, investing in where you want to go. I mean, sometimes I get it. I tell people you got to do what you got to do until you can get there. I told Sherilyn before we went live, I said, it is my desire.
Yes.
The Lord say the same, that I'm going to be turning everything over to her. I really want her to be the person that really, handles my brand and all that stuff. And so, and I have to say this too. I endorse Sherilyn, but let me be clear. I pay her like anybody else, because I think sometimes people think if you endorse a person, there's no back scratching. Sherilyn sends me an invoice and I pays it, and I let her know it's paid. And so I really do. So when I say I recommend her, I mean it. I'm not getting anything out of it.
Right.
I'm recommending her, and I brought her on here because I want you guys to get the mentorship. I want her to talk about her mentorship program, because you guys are telling me, I hope you guys, because a lot of you guys have reached out to me about nonprofit organizations. Pastor Gigi is doing a free class. I shared it on Facebook. I said, listen, this lady has a multi-million-dollar chain of companies. She knows what she's doing. Get on this call or this webinar or whatever. And so I want Sherilyn, I want you to tell them about your mentorship program, your LEAP events and stuff like that. And so, guys, we have to invest. That goes for me too. I gotta invest, guys.
You gotta invest. But Dee has never asked for a discount. She always be like, listen, this is what, okay, I'll be ready in a moment. That's what she would tell me.
But if I can't do it, I'll just tell her. I don't lie and I don't fake the funk. I keep it real. I'll be like, Sherilyn, I love you. When I got it, I got you.
But I feel I should say this. I really feel that I should say this. Don't not call me, y'all. Listen to me. God has me sow a lot. I really do. And if you call me, God may just tell me to sow it. And I'm obedient. I really am. I really am obedient. When you're in business, if in your life you sow, If in your life you give, then in that company, you need to do the same. And I really feel that that's what's keeping me. That's what sustains me, because my life is runs parallel in business as it does in my real life. So if I'm paying a tithe, I'm gonna pay a tithe off of Camden Lane. I'm gonna sow off Camden Lane if I sow from my personal account, right? And so that's just a little nugget there to help you when you're in business. Don't think it's separate from who you are. If you're kingdom, that business is kingdom. So make sure that you understand that. Make sure that you understand that. So don't just not call me. Don't look at that website and freak out. Don't do that, because you just never know. I've had people save up for a year to use me. And she would send me money every month, just a little bit every month. I've had clients that come to me and say, I saved up to come to you. And it's like the biggest blessing. It really is. It really means that I'm doing something right. And you know, your rate is your rate. Your rate is your rate. As long as God knows that you're being fair to the people of God, that's your rate, right? Because I tell people all the time, not only are you paying me for my talent, you're paying me for my time. I can't get my time back.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about your rates, how much is your time worth for you? When you sit down to a computer, how much is that worth for you? Because when you sit down and work, you can't do other things. So how much is that your time worth to you? Your gift, yes, but how much is that time worth? Then you're going to figure it out. Also, too, if you're doing rates and you feel frustrated, that means you ain't charging enough. Because you should have peace. Now, if you're sitting at a computer and designing and you're frustrated, because I used to be like this, right? I had somebody contact me last year and she said, give me a quote. That's what she said. So I give her a quote for a magazine. She says to me, well, that's not even what you charged me 3 years ago. And when she told me what it was, I almost fell out of my chair. Sherilyn, how could you not know you were worth more than that?
Yeah.
Right. So guys, you can get this done. You can get this done, right? New perspective on rates. That's right. That's right, Monica. You know, how much time is it taking you? It's your time. It's your time. You can't get it back, y'all. You can't get it back. Now, my mentoring is for women in business. It's a faith mentorship program. God assigned me to walk out the next 8 months with some women to mentor them. It kind of is like when God instructs me, I'm going to instruct them. I really have been in prayer and fasting, and I will continue to do that so that I can know who I'm supposed to mentor, and they need to know if I'm perfect for them. But one of my friends, Nicole, she told me one day, she said, Prophetess, you know, why don't you ever mentor on faith? Because that's all you ever talk to me about when it comes to business, right? And so really is doing a shift with me this year. I'm into branding and entrepreneurship, but God is pulling me back into ministry very strong. And so this my Bible study that I have every month and the mentoring, it's just the shift that God is doing with me this season to minister more and less business. But I do branding consulting every day. You can just go to the website and get that done from 15 minutes to an hour and a half. Just depends on what you need from me. But right now the focus has mainly been on ministry because I feel like I fell off with my ministerial stuff. So, and I kind of put it behind branding and entrepreneurship. And so that's another nugget. Don't ever do that.
Don't ever do that.
Priorities are straight. No matter how big that company gets, you make sure that God is first, because He is that of you. And when God isn't first, you do not have a kingdom business. First, it's not kingdom. It's not. It's you. So, you know, so when I was teetering, God's like, let me talk to you for a minute. God dealt with me at the beginning of the year. So what I'm going to do in my mentoring program is to kind of walk it out with some women for 8 months, but I'm going to be dealing with the spiritual side only of entrepreneurship, just the spiritual side. I do have Leap coming up that deals with entrepreneurship and things like that. This will be our 4th year. Last year was COVID. We weren't able to do it. So Leap is amazing. I love how God birthed Leap. It was just a name that He gave me in a notebook, and then I had no idea what it was. And so, but I found that my female clients, they were a little intimidated by the branding process. And so I said, well, I told my assistant at the time, okay, well, let's just do a little workshop. Maybe 40 women would do a little workshop in my hometown and have them come and have the lawyer there and the accountant there. And we can talk about how do you really build a business. And that day, Miss Bolden, there were 125 women waiting in line. And
Wow.
I did it. I was pregnant. So that's what happened. And then next thing you know, the women were doing videos, this is what I learned at Leap and Leap this and Leap that. And I'm like, huh. Did God just give me something? Yes, he actually did. And, he said, now do it again. And so that's how Leap was born. But there's been so many businesses birthed from Leap because it's about Jesus up in there. We don't be playing with it. Sometimes these things can be trendy, but we don't be playing with it. We be on our face, we be crying out. And I do that regularly. One, I have to stay in God's face to preach. But secondly, I always tell people that in business, God deals with me in unorthodox ways. I may not have a sales funnel, but I'm very successful. Very.
That's good.
Very, very. And I had to be okay with that. Nothing against women that do that because they're geniuses in their field. But I don't go through all of that. That's not how God deals with me in business. And so I had to get okay with that because nobody wants to be feeling like they're an outsider, and that they get it like other people do. So it took me some time to be okay with that and even to talk about it because people will jump all over you and say, what? I'm telling you that I make a lot of money. So just, but that's God. That's God. And I know that it's my sowing and my reaping. My sowing, my harvest. Know that it's because I give from the pot. I know that because I move with integrity. And these are things we'll be talking about in that mentorship program. How do we apply those things, the spiritual things, to the business strategy that you're going to get? Because you do need a business strategy. You need that before you even come to me. So don't think this is me saying you don't need those things. Yes, you do. Because that's how you run a company. You have an accountant. I have a financial advisor, an accountant, an attorney. I have all of those things. But when it comes down to it, and I have a financial goal, I'm on my face. I'm pushing my plate away. And I'm putting this business before the Lord. And so women need to know that as well. So I'll let the other geniuses and the wonderful women deal with those parts, but I'm going to deal with the spiritual side. And so that's what faith mentorship is about.
That is really good. And yes, I agree, Princess. This is really needed. And my heart is for everybody to win. And sometimes I get flustered because it's like, if I jumped on here and was like, okay, it's time to prophesy, they would be knocking me off my own Facebook Live to get on here.
Amen.
But to get these practical things from women that are so successful and to not be in a rush to get this, knowing that you got more bills at the end of the month, you got more month at the end of the money, all that stuff. You got all these huge, I got people blowing me up day and night, all these visions and dreams and stuff.
Right.
Where you at?
We can't,
because I'm telling you right now, what you said, I put you guys in an order for a reason. You already said, you just said it. You said, before you come to me, you need a strategy. That's why I had a niece on yesterday. There's your strategist. If you need a business strategy, that's where Anise Silliman, who was on last night, that is your the business strategist person. If you need well, I know Lady Tamil, she couldn't be on here, huh?
Yeah, you need all those things before you come to me. That's the problem. Like people know creative things, but they don't have any idea what I'm creating.
And I think and that's another thing where graphic designers can get frustrated.
Yeah.
When see me, you know how I am. I just be like, Sherilyn, here's the phone. Here's make it.
I love clients like you.
And because people, I know that it's frustrating to you when people are like, well, I don't know what I want, and then you make something. Well, I don't want that. Well, so then you do know what you don't want.
You have to trust your graphic designer, and I have something that I'm launching that's going to help you with that. But you have to trust your graphic designer. Listen to me. There are millions of fonts, right? Millions.
Yeah.
And for you to tell me, no, I don't like that font. I don't like, you have to trust that it's going to look good because I know what I'm doing. If you have a graphic designer that you don't trust enough to even choose a color, then you probably couldn't work with them. If you don't even trust them to choose your font, your color, your layout, anything like that, then that's not the graphic designer for you. Because what you should do is look at the aesthetic of the designer.
Mm.
That's why when people say, "Can you recommend a designer?" I tell my friends, don't ever put me on those things. Most of them, the people already know where to find a designer, right? And there's a million people vying. I'm busy. I'm booked anywho. There's a million people vying for that one client to say, "Oh, I want to use you." Well, have you researched? You need to research whether it's a designer that you want to use. Do they have the aesthetic that you need? Because I don't do flashy. I don't do that. I won't give you that. So when you come to me and say, "Oh, I want it," well, have you looked at the website? So you got to educate yourself first. And not say, "Oh, well, the designer didn't give me what I need." Well, did you look at their work so that you know what they do and how they do it, so that you won't waste your time or the designer's time?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with looking around, y'all. Look around and see. Like I have a corporate aesthetic. My stuff is clean. It really is. And you probably won't get all that extra that you're looking for from me. And then I ain't gonna give you but 3 chances to get it right.
Listen, and that people have to know that when you go to and I'm gonna say this because Sherilyn is a professional. When you go to a professional graphic designer, there's always a certain number of revisions that you get, and that's something you're supposed to know offhand. You can't ask somebody to change something 10 times. That's why she know I looks it over,
Yes.
and I'll be like, either I'll say, "Can you just change this one little thing right there?" Or something simple.
You trust me most of all. And there's nothing wrong with looking around, you guys. Like, there's nothing wrong because different designers have different aesthetics. Aesthetic is the way that they design, right? And so you just have to look at the work. Just look at the work and know what you like. Know what you like so that you won't go to a designer that doesn't even do what you're asking and then be frustrated and they be frustrated and then you got a horror story. So if you just take your time and research, there's somebody out there that's perfect for you. Because listen, I'm vetting you too. I don't take every client. I'm vetting you too. Like, I don't think I can, if you come to me and I say, I don't think I can give them what, I don't want to waste your time. And I certainly don't want to take your money when I know I probably can't give you what you're needing. It doesn't mean what you're needing is bad. It's just meaning that's not my aesthetic. I'm probably not going to be a good fit for you. And more people in this field need to be more honest about that. If you can't pull it off, you need to tell these clients that you can't. That's called integral, being integral. And if you run your company right, you won't have to do desperate things like that and take people's money because you got to pay stuff. If you run your company right, if you educate yourself, like she said, the women that were before me, get with them and educate yourself, because really, I'm the last person you're supposed to see. But you guys come to me first, most of all.
Yeah.
If you want to get out there and you want that logo to be seen and you want to, this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to do these vanity projects. Now, what's a vanity project, Prophet? It's a project that you're doing so that people can think you're doing something. And you haven't even put any thought in it. You haven't put anything in it. You just want to get out there because you want people to know you're building a brand. That's a vanity project. It's a project to make other people feel like you're doing something. When you haven't put any thought into it, you haven't went to the Lord, you haven't prayed about it. It's just, you got to get out there because so-and-so is doing it. And I got to get out there. I got to put my flyer out too. And I got to put my logo out too. That's a vanity project. That's about you.
Very true.
And if you're kingdom, you shouldn't be building vanity projects. You know why? Because you're going to lose your money. And then you're going to be discouraged. But also the enemy is going to embarrass you because you weren't supposed to get out there yet. So don't be building these vanity projects. The vanity projects are simple. It's the projects that you put no thought into, but because so-and-so is selling socks and you know you don't sell socks, but you got to sell socks. And all of a sudden you need a logo and all this, and that. You're trying to put a website up and you don't even sell socks. It's vanity. I'm telling you, it's a trick of the enemy. You don't need to do that. Get with God. Understand where he's placing you, get your assignment right, and let's get to work. Go to all of those people before me. And then when it's time, when you have a clear vision and you can come to me and say, Prophetess, this is what my company is about, because I am going to ask you, can you brand me? I'm going to say, let's go. You know why? Because you've done the work. You've done the hard work. And then you make my job so much easier.
That's
Then I
good.
can develop a brand storyboard for you with color and font that you can use even if you don't use me. I'll give it to you. Now, I ain't giving you my native files, but I give you that. And listen to me. Let's put this out there right now because we're talking creative. Do you know that when you pay a designer, those files are theirs? They do not belong to you by law, right?
Yes.
Let's say if you get a t-shirt designed, right? That is the designer's property, not yours. So what you need to do is say to the designer, how can I buy the copyright for this work? Because if not, let's say for instance, hi Tamisha, let's say for instance, I designed you a dope t-shirt, right? And all of a sudden, Walmart wants like 50,000 of these t-shirts. You're gonna need to ask me, can you do it?
Yeah.
That should scare you. You're gonna need to ask me if you could do it. And then I'm gonna say, yeah, but I want 50%. Because by law, anything I create is mine. What you paid me for is the finished project. That's what you paid me for. So think about it like this. When you go to a restaurant, right? And you sit down, you're eating the meal, but you don't get the recipe. That's what you need to think about. So you paid for the meal, but you didn't pay to go in the kitchen and say, how do you make this? Because it's theirs. You just get the food. So you need to think about it like that. You'll be amazed how many people, too, that have fell out with me and said, well, can you send me my magazine files? No, I cannot. What do you mean your magazine files? They're mine. But people, I just want to put that out there. So you got to be smart. I'm going to do something to help you guys soon. But you got to be smart, too. If you got something that you know is yours, you want to make sure you protect it. Me, I don't talk about projects. I'm very, particulars with projects. I do not discuss my client's business because I know that we are trying to build something behind the scenes so that, there's no way I'm going to be out there. I only post the work you see on my Facebook for my company is only posted with permission. That's integrity, y'all. You got to look for somebody that can do that for you. But listen, when you go to a designer, you can say to them, hey, how do I get the native files? Is there a fee for that? Because I want my work, right? If it's important to you, you want your work. If it's important to you. I mean, it could be something that you don't really like. Dee's flowers, she don't need files for that. She just come back to me to change the date. But if you got a t-shirt that you feel is going places, honey, get them files so you won't have to be worried about going back to your designer talking about, do you think we can, because we just got $1 million deal from Walmart. Well, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is very important, especially when people are trying to get stuff, have stuff that they may want to trademark, and different things like that. You definitely will want to know that. And the same thing with photographers.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to pay them to get your images after you pay them to take them. I mean, it's a slippery slope. So you have to really know and understand those laws. And if you don't, you need to have a discussion with your photographer, your graphic designer, or any creative you're using. You want to have a good understanding before. And all I get understanding before you get into an agreement, so that there's not any conflict because you didn't know.
That's right. Well, I'm not the designer that's going to do that. I'm just teasing with you. God will deal with me. But there are laws. If you go to someone else, it does protect the designer. It is on their side. Anything they create. It's just like if you're at a job and you're creative, whatever you create on that job belongs to that job. It's not yours.
Yeah.
Think about it that way. So just some things to kind of think about while you're using your graphic designers, because we're really on your side. I want all my clients to win. I pray for all of my clients. There are times we have church on the phone. Like I think God will even cross those two parts of me over. Like it's just because I want you to do well, and I want your stuff to be able to compete. And so I'm going to do the best I can, even if I have to say to you, I don't really like that idea. Can we try something else? Because when it comes to authors and stuff, I've talked to authors and I always warn them, like, I'm going to give you what you want and then I'm going to give you what God gave me. I'm telling you that me and Jesus is going to win. And I
Oh, wow.
about 99% of the time, me and Jesus win because I'm speaking him about what that design should look like. And most of the time I've already designed it in my head when I'm talking to you. So it's just, yes, they do. Options for purchase. Most should, just ask if you don't see it outright and they'll do it. Yeah. God, listen, God may just tell me to give it to you. Wow. I listen to the man. That's all I'm saying. I listen to him, and it's been a very, very wonderful experience. I've had quite some bumps in the road, but I can't say, my lights have never been turned off. My rent has been paid. My kids have been fine. They were in college when I started this, and God has taken care of me, y'all. If you're going to launch a business, go to God because he can tell you what to do. He can instruct you who to allow to touch the vision as well. Vet those whose hands are going to be a part of your vision. Because I don't do club flyers. I say that all the time. You ain't finna get no messed up hands from me. I don't do club flyers. I don't do that. You can know that when you come to me, it's going to be the anointed hands of the Lord that's guiding me to get this thing done for you. I take it very seriously because my clientele are mostly women of God. They are women of God, all of them.
That's good.
God requires more of us when we say we're kingdom, and that includes us that are in service to people that are kingdom. They shouldn't have bad stories about us in business. They shouldn't have that. And if they do, I had to apologize before, for sure.
Somebody wants to know, what is your contact information? What is the website? I didn't want to be typing too much while you was going. I'll type it right now.
CamdenLaneCreative.com. Yeah, just send me a message. I'm going to give them my email too.
Okay, email?
Sherilyn, SHERILYN, Michelle, MICHELLE @gmail.com. Because understand me, I have clients that are on payment plans and all kinds of stuff, y'all. Don't just think, when you go to that website, don't just think that it's a no, because God can make a way and you never know what he's going to speak to me about you. So I would say contact me anyway. Let's have a chat. Well, we'll have about a 10-minute chat. Anything other than that, I have to send you an invoice. So
listen, I feel you. I get it. And I don't blame you. But I'm telling you, reach out to her. Please email her. Go to the website. Contact her.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many people have come to me. God gave me a best-selling book. I'm like, then you need a best-selling cover. So you need to go to Sherilyn.
You need that best.
And I'm like, okay, you have to invest in some things. Like I tell people, like, I get it. Sometimes I have to cut corners. Like I be cutting stuff out. Forget cutting corners. I get it. But sometimes you do have to invest in stuff. When you can, you have to invest in it. If you want it to look nice, if you want it to look polished, you will miss opportunities.
Yes, you will.
Because stuff does not look professional. If you're I personally am not trying to get my books in stores. That's not a goal of mine. And I can tell you why, but that's a whole nother conversation. Like, a lot of people want their books in shelves, but there's liability to that. If your books don't sell, you can end up owing type of stuff. And so, but my point is, you want to be ready for every opportunity. And so if you want a polished brand, please, I'm imploring the saints. Please,
come on, saints. I got
reach
you.
out to the woman of God. She's integral. I publicly endorse her without any fear, because I know I've worked with her for 5 years. She has a sweet spirit. Don't feel intimidated. Sherilyn is a very warm person. She's very down to earth. And so I want you guys to win. I want you guys to have winning brands. And even if you're like, hey, like she said, reach out and see if she can work with you. See, you may not even know exactly what you need. She may say, okay, you know what? You don't even need that right now. Or you don't even need this right now. Or let's just focus on this. And I want you guys to make sure that you follow her on Facebook as well, Sherilyn Michelle Bennett. to see her LEAP events that are coming up. My goal is to be, whether it's virtual or in a seat, to
Mm-hmm.
have a seat in her next LEAP event. And so I
Yeah.
want you guys to be able to partake of this stuff. Why? Because you go in places like Clubhouse, everybody is an expert and there's no fruit. Why? Because
Right.
everybody is trying to get you to get a million things you don't need.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many calls I get from people that have
Mm-hmm.
spent thousands of dollars to get their
Yes.
book published and don't have a book to show or to sell. I'm like,
That's
you could have got me for a fraction of the cost and your books would have been shipping. But
right.
because you don't know and you let people trick you, I always tell people you pay for your ignorance. But when it
Yes.
comes to that polished brand and it comes to that $1 million look, this is the person you want. If you want to be able to put your book cover next to TD Jakes, this is the person you want to book. You see, I'm gonna have to post something like she did my husband's flyer, she did the flyer for my daughter's business, she even redid my daughter's logo. I could have had a praise break all over this house. Okay, because
Yes.
she knows what she's doing. She is legit. And so I'm gonna stop tooting her horn, but I say this because I get tired of the inboxes. I had somebody tell me that someone, and I'm not gonna say the person's name, ripped this person off very bad. And I know who the person is. And I'm like, this
Okay.
is why I publicly endorse people like this, because I would rather you pay a little bit more and get what you want and even get a better quality than
Mm-hmm.
for you to pay less and to get ripped off and somebody takes your money and skip down the road. Or once you pay your money, they disappear, or they got to. I think in the 5 years I've been dealing with Sherilyn, she's been sick one time, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no rush.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. When you're dealing with graphic designers, keep your timeline in mind. You
Yes.
can't come to somebody like Sherilyn and say, "Okay, I need it done in 3 hours."
Yes,
That's
I
not
have.
how that works.
Yeah.
And
No.
so keep your timeline in mind, keep your budget in mind. But I want us as women of God to be in business and to win. And so, Sherilyn, I want you to have final words. If you want to share anything else about anything you have coming up and stuff like that, and then we'll be done.
Well, if you are interested in the mentoring program, I'm taking the applications now. I think that Monday will be the last day. And that website is www.leapgirlleap. That's where you can apply for the mentorship. We'll be putting out some things for Leap probably by the end of March, because Leap is October 1st and 2nd in Orlando, Florida, and seats will be limited because we do have to take COVID restrictions into consideration. So Leap is going to be amazing this year. I hope you guys can join me. If you want to contact me, we'll have a chat on Monday. I don't work on weekends. I won't answer you, but don't think I'm ignoring you. It's just that I have these things in place for my own well-being. So,
That's good.
but I love authors, and I would love to work with you. But I do it all, from billboards. I just had a billboard up in Atlanta, so I do it all, from billboards to logos to magazines, one sheets, media kits, all of those things. You can find examples of those on my website, as well as our Facebook page, Camden Lane Creative Agency.
Mhm.
You can go on there and take a look at some of the things that I do. And I just want to say, you guys can get this right. If God is giving you a vision, he has already made the provision. Now, that's kind of cliche, but I want you to dig into that, lean into that, because it's the truth. And only will you know if you trust God so much so that you just spend the money, that you say, God, listen, provide for me. Provide for me. This is my choice, God. I want to use the woman of God. Can you provide for me? If not, speak to her heart, and get serious about it. Don't do these vanity projects. Don't waste your time with those. Do what you're graced for, do what you're anointed for, and watch God move. Watch God blow on that business. Watch God blow on that brand. And I always tell people, when we're out and we're walking into stores, do you know that was somebody's vision? And if their vision, like, I'm not afraid to dream big at all. So if that was their vision, what more the people of God? What more the people of God? They ain't even probably serving Jesus. So you don't
Right.
believe that the Lord will give you something that will rival or even beat what's already been built. Also, ask God for the places that need something is needed. When I say that, I say, see how Uber took taxi cabs almost out of business? Somebody
Yeah.
think about the fact that what was the deficiency in taxi cabs? What was it? They're grimy. They weren't clean. We didn't know these people. They weren't vetted. So what did Uber do? They took all of that and said, okay, I can do something better because I'm going to take advantage of the deficit. So if you're in an industry, look in that industry and find out what's missing. Don't just build something to be in the industry. Let's see what's missing in that industry. What is it that's not being taken care of? Like, what is it that's not working right now? How can my company fill the void? How can I be the new kid on the block and just take over? Ask God to reveal it. Even if you don't know what it is, ask God. Push away your plate and ask God to reveal what is it that's in a deficit in the industry that I'm in. What is it? Should I put my name just on a label of lotions and products, or should God give me something to create the lotion or the product that I can own myself? Because you're just owning the bottles when you put your label on it. But what God can give you the mixture, and then all of a sudden you got millions of dollars on your hands. Mm-hmm. So I always say, don't be a lazy entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Seek God, and then do the work. Also, patience is key when you're building a business. Be patient.
I said that last night. Thank you.
Be patient. Come on, y'all. Because if you're not patient, you're going to jump, you're going to leap, and you're going to fall. Because God is like, I ain't ready yet. I don't have the net ready yet. Go back. But we fall into this trap of trying to show people and trying to get them to see that I'm the next best thing. And do you think I could care less? I do not play them games. I do not participate. I will not be out there like that. I ain't finna be running. I ain't finna be not getting no rest, honey. I have to get my rest. I'm not finna be grinding 24/7. God ain't told me I had to work like that. I'm like Chick-fil-A, honey. I take Sundays off.
Listen.
And Saturdays too. But I had to learn that, guys. I didn't always know that. So this is just my style. I'm a prophet. I'm a little aggressive, but it's just my style, how I teach, because I need you to get it. And I always say, if you're going to get branding from me, it'll be the last branding class you'll ever have to take, because you're going to have to dig in and do the work. Do the work. You want to build legacy. You ain't trying to build just for a moment. You're trying to build for a lifetime.
Good.
Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time, because if you move too soon, then you won't get the instructions. I do that myself. Cool. Sometimes I used to move so quick, and God be like, well, I wasn't even done talking yet. I'm gonna give you rest next week. Like, what are you doing? And you're out there, and you're like, God, why are you forsaking me? Well, I haven't. I was still talking.
True. That's good.
I'm praying for all of you. When you contact me, we might just go straight up in prayer about it. You just never know.
That's good.
Yes, but you can do it. Entrepreneurship is hard, but it's doable. People do it every day. And I did it. I have not lacked at all. The first year I worked for myself, I made double what the people was paying me.
Good.
Yeah. Because this time I said, I'm going to do it right. What was the difference between the first time when I failed and the time that I started again? Education. And God. Because I can't. I asked him the first time. I don't want to lie to y'all. I'm very transparent. I go to God. When I launched that first business, I did not consult the Lord.
That's good.
I did not. So those two things were the difference. The second time, Jesus and a business strategy.
That's good. That's really good. I'm glad you shared that. I hope you guys have been taking these nuggets down. I really hope that you guys take the time to reach out to her and connect with her. I gave you all her information. If you didn't see it, you can go back. It's in the comments, or you can DM me if you can't find it, and I'll gladly pass on her information. But I want to say this really quick before we get off. She said something that I've been saying over and over and over is patience. That's something that I've learned even with, helping my daughter build her little business. We on autopilot. And she'll come back. She'll say, well, God showed me this. She said, I had a dream about this. And, because I kind of I flow off of knowing. I just kind of know what to do. Yeah. And it was something with her business that we're working on. And I'm like, well, God, how is this going to work with this? She was like, oh, God showed me in a dream. I saw the different name on there, and this, and everything that I had in the back of my head that I've been pondering before the Lord. She saw the whole thing in a dream. I was like, why you don't be saying nothing? She was like, I kept it a secret. And so God will speak to us even about our businesses. He can speak to you in dreams and visions. He can speak to you through other people. And
Mm,
so be open to the voice of the Lord and how God leads you and how he will speak to you, because he wants us to win and he will lead us and guide us. And so when he shows us that stuff, my faith is like, okay, now I got to start moving things in the direction, God, that you're showing me. So I
yes.
want to say that to somebody. When God shows you something, or you receive a prophetic word, that's not the time to get in a rocking chair and wait for it to come to pass. You
No.
got to put your works with your faith. And
Right.
so, yes, what Sherilyn said is so important. I remind people about what Pastor Gigi, she has a super successful business now after 14, 15 years.
Wow.
So be patient.
Yeah.
This is not a race. This is not, I love your testimony. God is good. Yes, Sherilyn has a powerful testimony about business. And so, like I said, connect with her, follow her, all
Yeah.
that stuff. But
Me.
yeah, so yeah, I want the people to connect and really be a part of the stuff you have going. But yes, I just want to say that one more time: patience. Don't
Yeah.
let social media get you in a hurry. I've been disconnecting from social media because it was giving my soul a headache. Yes,
Lord,
my soul was having a
my Lord,
headache.
my soul, my soul. What I
Yes,
do, I post, but I don't scroll. See, people don't like
yeah,
that. I post, but I don't scroll
and I
because
just get off. Yeah,
right now I just cannot.
yeah, I can't. It gets to be too much. I kind of backed off the clubhouse and stuff, and so I
Yeah.
said that it's better reach out to her. There's a lot of stuff going on Clubhouse and on social media. You can get overwhelmed. You
Yeah.
get a lot of advice you don't need. You can get a lot of bad advice. You can get
Mm,
a lot of stuff out of season. And so I would recommend you reach out to a niece and reach out to Sherilyn. And if you're doing so, like if you're looking for my book coaching or my book writing stuff like that, you can go to my website for that. But for the cover, I'm gonna send you right back to Sherilyn. So
yes. And I'll
So
be ready.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sherilyn, for being on here.
Thank
And so
you.
I pray that this stuff is going to be a blessing to you guys. I'm telling you, you don't get stuff like this, on the fly like this. So I pray that you listen to what she said, that you reach out to her, contact her, and connect with her. And so I love you guys. And so good night and goodbye.
Right.